Hi, thanks for tuning in. In this video, I will demo Pariksh, an exciting new product to define your stock buy-sell strategy and test the same against the stock's price history. So this backtesting before investing, you can think of that as facts before funds. Let's jump straight into the demo. I will sign in with my Google account. I'm going to pick up the first account here. So after logging in, we landed on the product page. So on the product page at the top, you see US ticker or India company name. This product will work with both US and India stock markets. The difference is with India stock market, you need to provide the entire company name or the beginning part of the company name. And with US stock market, you just provide the ticker symbol. I will stick with the US stock market for this video, for this demo. So let's start with NVIDIA. Let's give it a date range 08/08/2024, which is 1 year back, 08/08/2025. I will give a name to the strategy for NVIDIA like stocks. So you see these two boxes have become enabled. This box, which is the buy steps, and here the sell steps. So what we're going to do here is define the buy and sell rule, and then also provide an override rule for the sell step, and then validate it, followed by the actual backtesting. So let's start with the buy steps. When the price is above 9 DMA, that's the first one. DMA here means daily moving average. So the price is above 9 DMA. What that means is that the stock is on an uptrend at least the last several days. And today's price is about the average of the last 9 days. So I'm going to select that as part of my buy criteria. And then price above 45 or above 200 or less than 45 or less than or equal to 200 DMA. I will say if the price is above 200-day moving average, which is the long-term trend. So if today's price is above the long-term average, then that's part of my buy criteria. So I'm selecting AND for each of these because I want to combine those criteria. So now the next is the 9-day moving average, which can be compared against a 45-day or 200-day moving average. So we're saying here if the 9-day moving average, I will select this one. If it's greater than the 45-day moving average, then that's part of my buy criteria. So this third option, I will skip this for now, the 45-day moving average. So we have defined the buy steps. Let's go on and define the sell steps. Again, start with the price. If the price is below 9-day moving average, meaning if today's price is lower than the average of the last 9 days, that's a warning signal for me, and that would be part of my sell criteria. And also if today's opening price is below yesterday's low, there is a term for that called gap down. If that's the case, then that's part of my sell criteria as well. Also, if price is below 200-day moving average, which is the long-term average, so if the price today is lower than the 200-day moving average, that's also part of my sell criteria. So I want to pick an OR between this 9 DMA gap down and the 200-day moving average. I have an AND between 9-day moving average and the gap down criteria. So the next one I select is the 9-day moving average. If that's below 45-day moving average, that's part of my sell criteria. So I leave it like this. So we define the buy steps and the sell steps. So there are a couple of overrides you can do. Do not sell when any trade will make a loss. So based on this buy and sell criteria, if a specific trade is going to make a loss, we can skip and say do not sell. So I'm going to select that option. There is one more override checkbox here that says when the price is above the 200-day moving average, which is a bullish signal. What that means is if today's price is more than the long-term moving average, then we don't want to be selling the stock. So it's possible that you define a sell criteria and you can override that. Your sell criteria could be met, but then your price could be about 200-day moving average. If that's the case, then you could skip selling the stock. I'm not going to pick that option. We'll just stick with the simple one where it says when the trade will make a loss, then do not sell. So that's it. We define the buy, sell, and the override criteria. So now we are ready to validate the inputs. Once, it's validated, it says start the backtest. It's also populated these boxes with the actual rules that we defined. And the rules are defined in English language here. Opening price greater than 9 DMA. You can read those. Now let's start backtest. Start the backtest. It's going to take a short while. So it's completed the backtesting and it's redirected us to the results page. So now on the results page, what do we see here? It's got a title that says $10,000 invested into NVIDIA on August 22nd, 2024 has resulted in. Okay, there are 3 columns in this table. So the first column is for the criteria we defined. We gave it a name, strategy for NVIDIA like stocks. So if you hover on that, it's giving you the rules that we defined. The buy rule, sell rule, and the loss minimizing rule. So the first row here is the CAGR, which is a compounded annual growth rate, which is the year-on-year growth over this duration starting from August 22nd, 2024 till June 23rd, 2025, which was the last sell signal. So there was a return of 19.43%. And during this duration, there were 4 round trips. Each buy and sell is considered a round trip. So there were 4 round trips. And the internal rate of return is basically considering each of those round trips and the buy and sell dates. And that return is higher, 22.48. It's just a different method called internal rate of return. It's a different method of calculating your returns. So we recommend just using CAGR, which is simplistic because you just start with what you invested and what did you end up with at the end of your investing period, which is 11,600, which is also called the exit value. Exit because we sold the stock on that day. So now the second column is the buy and hold strategy, which is popular among many investors. They buy the stock at an opportune time and then hold on to it for a long time. If you did that, there is just one transaction, right? You bought it on the first buy signal, which is 22nd August 2024, and then you held on to it till the last sell signal, which is June 23rd. You'd have made a return of 11.63%. And now the third option is, say you bought the stock on the same date when we had the first buy signal, which is 22nd August 2024, and you held on to it till the last trading day, which was yesterday, August 8th, then you'd have had a return of 41%. And that's because we held on to it for a longer duration, right? Almost 2 months longer. And more recently, there might have been it's a longer duration basically. And then the last day when we sold it, this is what we got, 13,967. That's why the returns are higher. So usually what our goal with this whole backtesting is to make sure our strategy can beat this column 2, which is the buy and hold. In this case, we beat this 19.43 versus 11.63. So what it's telling us is we have a capital that is intact. If we just bought and held on to it, there is no cash flow, right? The capital is locked in for the entire duration, and you would have made 11.63%. But then if you followed our strategy, every time there's a buy and sell, we made some money, right? And we could have pulled out some of that money for our expenses. So basically, we'd have made 19.43 if we did not pull any money and just reinvested back into the stock. So this difference is what we have in terms of cash flow that we could use. So every time we do backtesting, our goal is to beat the buy and hold strategy. Now that's it for the summary. So we have 4 files here that we could download: the transactions, cash flow, summary, and the summary CSV. Let's start downloading those. So I have downloaded those files. Let's start with the transactions file, which is called the buy sell data. So it's got those 4 buy sell pairs. So we started off on 22nd of August. We had $10,000. We invested at this price, buy price, and we got almost 77 shares. And the DMAs, the moving averages on that buy date, they're all displayed here. And then we sold, the first one was sold on 15th of November 2024. That's when the sell criteria was met. We have the sell price, sold amount, and all the DMAs. So we sold at $144, we bought at $129. That's like a 59% gain for that specific transaction. And then all the way to the end, which is 23rd of June, we sold at 11,599. So we started off with 10,000 and ended up with 11,599 on 6th, on 23rd of June. So this is the most detailed file that we have, and this is basically meant for you to validate the results and also do some analysis if you want. So let's look at the other files. This is the cash flow file. So here's the cash flow file. It's got a buy or a sell in each line here. So we bought on 22nd of August, put in $10,000. We invested it, that's why it's a negative. We got this many shares. We bought it at that price. And the second line is what did we sell it at. And then 5 days after we sold it, we again had a buy criteria. So we bought it back again. And so on and so forth till our last sell signal date. So let's look at the other 2 files. So this is the HTML version, a more detailed version of the summary that we saw in this screen. And this last file is just the CSV version of the summary that we saw. It's got all of these columns that you can see. So thanks for tuning in again. Hope you enjoy using the product. Have a nice day.